Super Rugby, guys. Qualifying finals time. How good. We've had a hell of a 16 rounds of Super Rugby, and isn't it awesome to finally be here, guys? So in this video, firstly, I'm going to cover off a couple of areas. I'm going to talk through how the qualifying finals will work, who's in the qualifying finals, and how that transitions into the semi-finals the following week. And obviously, stick around till the end if you just want to have a look at my preview and predictions summarised. So how does this work? So the qualifying finals, game 1 on Friday night. We have the Crusaders versus the Queensland Reds in Christchurch. Game 2 will be the Chiefs versus the Blues in Hamilton. And then the final qualifying final will be the Brumbies versus the Hurricanes in Canberra. And then, so from there, how it works is all three of the winners go through from those 3 games. The highest losing side goes through from those 6 teams. So I'll summarise that at the end, guys. Into business anyway. So the Crusaders and the Reds. So firstly, we'll look at the Crusaders. Look, they had a good win against the Brumbies. There wasn't a lot in that game. I think you are seeing the Crusaders of old. Look, you look at that Crusaders defence, like they're clinical, they muscle up well, they cover quite well, they're accurate, and they're a hard side to crack, so definitely on defence. I think their attack, what I would say about that is they don't really have maybe the game changers of these other Super Rugby sides, but I think you look at their attack, that they muscle up with the physicality up front, they shift it well enough into space, and if they get enough phases and fatigue the defence with enough pressure, they're more than capable of scoring points quite quickly. So they're definitely capable in that era, but like I said, without the game changes that will just carve teams up. I think you look at the Queensland Reds, yeah, boy oh boy, they were brilliant against the Fijian Drua, weren't they? Hell, a number of tries. They dominated that game in Suncorp. But let me know your thoughts on that down below. I don't think that was a particularly great performance by the Drua. They haven't travelled that well in 2025, and I don't think that they played particularly well in that game either. So I think you look at the Reds, so their defence, they muscle up well, they're clinical and accurate, they span wide well. They're a hard team to crack, but I think you look at their attack, and again, they're probably pretty similar to the Crusaders guys. Like, they don't really have the raw game changers that can just carve teams up and out of nothing. But again, with Tom Lina at first 5, they play a good structured attack. The physicality up front, they shift the ball well into space or through kicking. And Les Kiss at the helm, like I've said before, he is absolutely no slug. He will analyse this Crusaders side to the 9th degree, and he will have some pretty tactical moves to try and knock them over. So interested to see that. I think moving to this game though, obviously a couple of factors for this. Look, the Queensland Reds are a quality side. They're more than capable of beating anybody on their day. Look, this is a tough ask for them. This is in Christchurch, passionate home crowd for the Crusaders. That will definitely help the Crusaders in that regard. And I just look at this Crusaders side and the defence they have. Crusaders of old mentality. They are able to score points when on offer. They might not, like I said, have the dynamite of some of the other Super Rugby sides, but it is a dangerous Crusaders side. So in that regard, I'm going to go the Crusaders to win that by 10 points. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, please support the channel. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, chuck some banter down below about these qualifying finals and my comments, and share it with mates. Game 2. So on Saturday, we have the Chiefs versus the Blues in Hamilton. Ooh! Now, I can't wait for that. That is going to be awesome. Look, I think firstly, if you take a look at the Chiefs, like that Chiefs versus Landers game a couple of nights ago, what I'd say about that, that first 20 minutes from the Chiefs, they were just magnificent. Like the speed, the ruck speed they had, the way they were working as a team, their passing was so fast and accurate. And look, I said to my wife, guys, I said if they played like that 20-minute period against international sides, the likes of the Springboks, England, the Wallabies, maybe I'm biased, but that 20 minutes I think would test a lot of international rugby sides. They would just absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, they lost their way a little bit in that parts of the game, and what it does show is teams can take it to the Chiefs, but they need to be accurate and they need to control large parts of possession and territory and accumulate points. So, but jeepers, that attack, you look at Damien McKenzie, I've said he is phenomenal. His game management has been superb for the Chiefs, and he was brilliant against the Highlanders. And particularly their forwards, like Wallace Satiti, he's playing so well, particularly muscling up his ball carries. Samasoni Takiaho, whether or not he comes off the bench, I'm not sure how you even meant to tackle that guy, guys? Like, he's just an absolute brick. So again, they bring that physicality so well up front, and then particularly that game management, Damien McKenzie shifting it into space or crossfield kicks or grubbers behind. They're super dangerous on attack, aren't they, guys? And that defence was quite impressive against the Highlanders. Certainly, what I was impressed with, that they span out so well. They're clinical. They muscle up really well against the Highlanders as well. Chiefs are going to be a very, very tough side to crack for the Blues. I think you look at the Blues, and they had a good win against the Waratahs a couple of nights ago. I did think that the Waratahs probably didn't play that well. So, yes, the Blues were good, but the Waratahs were poor. So, I think, again, nothing's changed my opinion of the Blues. Like, even that Waratahs game, I still think their attack looks confused at best. I think they don't know whether or not they're going to have a pick and go with a forward, or if they're going to do a short ball to a forward and with a couple of hard ball carries, or whether or not they're going to go to Bowden Barrett and shift the ball wide or shift it in the midfield. Or I just don't think that they really know what plays to do next with their attack. It looks confused at best, and I think that seriously limits that Blues attack. I think that it's pretty poor from the Blues in attack. I think as well, I just don't think that they have the physicality in the forwards, players to bash these other forward packs up and dominate other sides physically and muscle up over them. So yeah, real concerns from me about that Blues attack. I would say that Blues defence is certainly one of the best in the Super Rugby comp. And certainly you saw the Waratahs, I think it was through a good hard 20 phases at the Blues and couldn't crack the Blues. I think it was in that first half. Yeah, so they'll take some bashing to crack them up in defence. Looking at this game though, a couple of factors for it. I think the Chiefs are at home, so yeah, they'll be tough to beat at home, that's for sure. And then I suppose the second factor from me is, do I think that the Chiefs are capable of cracking that Blues defence to score enough points to win the game? The answer to that is 100%. Like, I think that even though that Blues defence is really clinical and tough to crack, I think you've seen it from the Chiefs. That fast ruck speed, they muscle up front. They'll shift the ball so well into space. The variety the Chiefs have on tack, they are more than capable of scoring a lot of points against this Blues side. So on that note, let me know your thoughts down below. I have the Chiefs to win this by 25 points. So a bit of a hammering for the Blues coming this weekend, I think, guys. Game 3, we have the Brumbies versus the Hurricanes at GIO Stadium in Canberra. Ooh, awesome. And how good to have a Super Rugby qualifying final in Australia. That will be awesome. I think firstly you look at the Brumbies. Look, I've said before, if there's an Aussie side that's going to win Super Rugby, it's going to be the Brumbies. I think firstly you look at their attack. They're so clinical, kind of like the Crusaders. They don't have the game changers, I don't think, on attack, but Again, they are so clinical and accurate. Noah Loloseo is having the best season I think I've seen from him for a number of years. And the thing with the Brumbies is they're just really mentally tough. Like on attack, they don't panic. They just keep building phases, and they can easily get 15, 25 phases and win the game in the last play of the game. So they're definitely a dangerous, dangerous side. And look, you saw that against the Crusaders. Parts of that game, in that second half, I thought the Brumbies were done for. I thought the Crusaders would win it comfortably. And look, the Brumbies just held in there. They came back quite well in the second half. And look, that drop ball by Corey Toole, pretty well the last play of the game. If he didn't knock that on, I think that the Brumbies go the other side of the field, put 5, 10 more phases together, and they beat the Crusaders a couple of nights ago. So they're a dangerous, dangerous side. Certainly the Brumbies on attack, look, they're brilliant, aren't they? You know, accurate, they muscle up well, they span out well. Stephen Larkham, he's a tactical, clever coach, so he'll certainly have a few tactics for containing the Hurricanes on defence. I think you look at this Hurricane side, they probably didn't start so well in the season, but they're certainly starting to really find some good form, aren't they? And look, they had a hell of a good win against that Moana side a couple of nights ago. You know, some of their players, Duplessis, Karifi, Tyrell Lomax in the forwards, absolutely brilliant. Real good leadership for the Hurricanes when the pressure comes on. And then, you know, shifting the ball quite well. I'm assuming Ruben Love will probably be at fly half. And look, he's been brilliant. Shifts the ball well into space. And yeah, they're clinical and accurate. What I would say about this game though, in Canberra, look, that's a pretty tough place to play historically. And yeah, it's one of the best Brumbies sides we've seen in a number of years. So a very, very tough ask for this Hurricane side. So the question I ask is, do I think that the Hurricanes have enough X factor and can they score enough points to knock the Brumbies over? I do think they can. I think this game will be very, very close though. So let me know your thoughts down below, but I've actually got this game to be very close, but the Hurricanes to tip it by 2 points. Let me know your thoughts down below. So guys, the next part of these qualifying finals is, as I said before, the 3 winners of these games automatically go through to the semi-finals. The 4th team is the highest ranked losing team. So based off that, I have predicted to go through, as my summarised predictions. I have the Crusaders to win that in Christchurch by 10 points. I have the Chiefs to win in Hamilton by 25 points. And finally, I have the Hurricanes to beat the Brumbies by 2 points. On that note, I think the highest ranked losing team will be the Brumbies to go through to the semi-finals. So let me know your thoughts on that down below, guys. Guys, finally, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, like the video, add some banter about the qualifying finals this weekend. How good are these games going to be? And yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. Cheers.